Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It's me, Comic Crack, and it's Sunday, and I'm here for a very, very short Sunday wrap this week. No chat this week with Rasa. I was working this weekend, so we didn't have a chance to get together. Hopefully, next Sunday, we're back. I just added to my book the few comics that I read this week. I feel like I missed a bunch. I haven't been It's been a very sporadic start to the year for reading, considering what's going on out there. I've been kind of distracted with a bunch of other things and following news and all that sort of stuff. So I haven't read as much as normal during the week. I wanted to show you this. Share screen. This is one of the things that I was working on. So we have this Festival de Voyageurs every year, and all this stuff here, all these colored lights. A few of us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know, 7 to 10 people. I think I wasn't there every single day. We're setting up some lights, running some power for it. There was some food trucks over in the corner here. There's food trucks, some food trucks over here and over here. And then there's scaffolding 3 decks high or 3 sections high with a bunch of lights on them. All these big tents. Well, we didn't do the tents. We did the scaffolding, the lighting, running power and things. So that was a drone shot of and that's downtown Winnipeg right there. Our huge skyline, the financial district, as we like to call it. So that's what that is there. It's a beautiful shot. The guy that I was working with that's kind of coordinating the whole thing, he found it on social media. There was a guy out there with a drone taking some shots of everything. So he found it on Instagram or something. And passed it on. So looks beautiful, really, really good shot. Nice to kind of have to see, oftentimes you do this work and you just see it from the ground. It's like, yeah, I guess it looks good. It's nice to see this kind of shot to see, wow, that actually looks pretty goddamn impressive. We go in tomorrow morning to take it all down. So we'll see how the teardown goes. Teardown usually goes a little quicker, but we'll see what happens. So there you go, a little glimpse into some of the stupid shit I do. No, not stupid, really. Actually, that was pretty fun. What else is happening? I hesitate to talk about much else. The shit going on in the UK, Julian Assange, still Gaza, all that stuff. The British Parliament has been a clusterfuck, a total embarrassment. I'm wondering if Rasa follows that stuff. Be curious to hear their perspective on it. Obviously, I don't know a ton about it. I see what we see, but this latest fiasco in their parliament was just ridiculous. So I kind of really dug deep into it, listened to a bunch of things. I've been listening to a bunch of Yanis Varoufakis, the ex-financial minister of Greece, doing some conversations, doing some talks, running the circuits. I guess there's a documentary. I think it's a 6-part documentary that was done on him, talking about kind of his time in education, his time in politics, and now his time as like an activist, and traveling around the world. He's written a bunch of books. I'm not super familiar with him. It's a name that I've run across over the kind of past couple of years, but recently I've decided to kind of dig in and listen to some of his talks. Some really interesting stuff. He's got a lot of interesting things to say. A couple of things that are kind of, I don't think I fully understand his point. But that said, though, he's really great. John Mearsheimer, is that his name? John Mearsheimer. Been listening to some of his stuff again lately. Kind of go up and down on him, but he's always great to listen to, talking about the Ukraine, talking about Palestinians in Gaza and stuff like that. So he's really a good guy to listen to. A little bit of Chris Hedges, as always. He always enters my timeline. there were some really good speeches at the Free Assange, at the Assange trials that happened Monday and Tuesday. So there was a lot of really good stuff online there. A couple of the people that I watch, the show Due Dissidents that I watch, they kind of have enough followers now where they were able to send one of the guys to the rallies, which was really great. Who are those Irish politicians? Claire Daly, and is it Matt? Not Matt Wallace, is it? I don't remember, but they're amazing to see anyway. But they even talked at this Assange, as well as a lot of other people. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, I mean, a lot to say about that stuff, but I don't necessarily want to make this a politics kind of stream here. Let's talk about some comics. So I managed to find a copy of, I was missing issue number 3. This is Grendel from volume 2 from the Comico run. This is issue number 3. I think it's the only one I was missing. Let's have a look here. Come on, CLZ, open up. Volume 2. I now have till number 29. I see I didn't actually enter it in here. So let's pop this in here while I'm doing this. Clear that. There we go. Add to collection. Yeah, so issues 1 to 29 now, which is fantastic. Now I can keep reading it. This is a series I do want to read all together. I do want to read kind of all the way. And actually, I'm only missing number 30 and 38, and then I'll have right the way to issue 39. So I'll have to maybe jump on those pretty soon. It's been a bit of a break from this book, so it's been a while since I've read the first 2 issues. I have a vague memory. This guy here is some sort of vampire or demon creature who feeds on children. This Grendel is a woman named, I don't remember what her name is. This is from 1986, this issue, and it's the Pander Brothers. One of the things I noticed opening this sucker up was this ad here and someone really cribbing fucking Don Martin, like in a huge, huge way. Somebody by the name of, does that say Phil Lasordia? I'm not sure what that says. I can't really read the signature, but heavy duty cribbing of Don Martin. Not as good though, but faces in the whole 9 yards. Pander Brothers are great in this as always. This story, this issue was pretty fun. The new Grendel kind of finding her limitations and her pain thresholds and her just abilities and agilities in general, getting her ass handed to her and thrown out of a window from this gigantic building, the skyscraper. Where's that? There was a couple of, yeah, this one here is pretty nice. I like that face on that one there. So pretty good book. I can't say I'm loving it yet. I do really like the Panders. I do really like that Ginger Fox. I just don't know if I'm totally sold on them so far for this series. I've got a long way to go, so I'm sure it will grow on me, and I'm assuming they'll kind of lean into it the further along they get. But yeah, I'm curious about this series. It just hasn't kind of grabbed me yet in the way that I thought it might. But yeah, we'll keep going and we'll see what happens with it. So not too bad. Issue number 3 of Grendel. Turns out I had issue number 1 to 3 of this Aliens Hive miniseries. I'm missing number 4. I couldn't resist. I read the first 3 anyway. Goddamn, this is a good book. I really kind of dig the premise of it. there's been an alien that has been created by our team here. That our main female is kind of what year is this from? 1992. Our main one of our main characters here is kind of has a criminal background, and she's thinking of this from her angle. And the scientist here is thinking about it as, you know, kind of with his angles there, with his kind of scientific investigations. I think he's fallen for her in a big way. I have a feeling that she's gonna kind of take a turn on him, but we'll see. So they're running some tests with this alien that they've created, and we eventually reach a point where this they find the jackpot of this blue liquid that our professor is using to help him with his, what was it? I don't think he had cancer. What the heck did he have? Either way, it acts as like a drug. It's like the queen bee's honey, basically. Or jelly, royal jelly is what it's called. So the queen alien's royal jelly, and they found this ship that has a huge supply of this royal jelly, and he wants, or they want it all. And it really fucks you up. It makes you hallucinate and all sorts of things. And the healing properties aren't completely known, but they're willing to kind of dig in on it. So it's a really, really fun series so far. When the alien gets down there, it ends up what we think is getting kind of torn to shreds as the other aliens kind of sniff it out and realize that it's not from their hive. So it's pretty fucking good. A really easy read. I can see why this is one of the books in this kind of franchise that people kind of stick with or rave about. Pretty goddamn fun. Kelly Jones on the art. It's pretty good. You know, I said it last time we were talking about it. I used to be a pretty big Kelly Jones fan. I'm not as much anymore, but honestly, the more you get into this, the more I do dig it. I think it works with this story, even though some of his characters, like I've said, they look a little kind of stretched out, and they look a little not right in not a good way, you know. So take a quick flip through this one here, but recommended if you see it in the bins. I have a feeling this is floating around out there. I don't think this one goes for too much, to be honest. I've got to get my hands on issue number 4 so I can finish that off. A little bit of kind of Sam Keith type of layouts here on a page like this. Really reminds me of his stuff. Yeah, so there you go. It's Aliens Hive. 1, 2, and 3. And then last book for today, really, really short one. I'm starting to reread Blueberry. As I was going through this kind of shelf tour and stuff, I was looking at the shelves upstairs just to see if there's anything there that can shuffle around. Brought a couple of books upstairs that should be there, and pulled these off the shelf and just started digging into it. This is Fort Navajo, the first book. I think there was 4 of these books from Dargo at the time. What year did this get published? I believe all of this stuff was also put out in the Epic. So this is originally is 1965, and then this is 1977. First published in Great Britain, 1977. Egmont Publishing Limited out of London. I've had a look online for the other 2 books in this particular series because I would love to get the rest of them. Not the easiest to find, and of course with Blueberry stuff can be kind of pricey. This was a hell of a lot of fun to read again. I do want to dig into that Epic books to see, to kind of to compare if these stories did appear there, which again I'm pretty sure they did. I like to compare the kind of printing and stuff, but really, really nice to kind of sit and read Again, it's pretty comfortable reading, flows really nicely. It's a pretty great story. You know, Blueberry is how he is right out of the gate. Really nice way to kind of introduce us to the character, and you get to like him pretty goddamn quick. You're with him pretty goddamn quick. This is interesting also because of the dealings with the indigenous peoples and the a lot of the other soldiers in this group who don't agree with the leadership. It's an interesting take on it. I think there's room there for sure. And then that idea of just following orders to some degree, but Blueberry being Blueberry, saying he's going to follow orders and then not really doing so. The biggest one being sounding the retreat on the bugle when a bunch of the soldiers were going and kind of to slaughter some innocent Apaches who had nothing to do with this kidnapping that they were first investigating right at the beginning of the book. So he catches some shit from that. Yeah, great stuff. Book one there, and then I've got number 2 of this particular run as well too. So Thunder in the West, just kind of thin volumes of these. So that'll be, I'll dig into that one this week. I think probably 77 with this one too. Also great to see his art, the Jean Giraud side of his art, as opposed to the Mobius side of his art. You know, talked about a million times, but you can tell that it's him, but it's just so much different from what he becomes. But I really like this stuff. It's a lot of fun to read there. So yeah, there you go, Blueberry. I think that's about it, everybody. So next week, next Sunday, we should be back for our chat in the afternoon, and I'm going to try to dig into some books this week as well. What else was there? I think that was it. Let's just call it quits there. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. Oddfellows Thoughts. Travis back with a video, just a little kind of 15-minute video talking about some new books that he's picked up, talking about some issues that he's been having with his old camera. He recorded this video on his phone. It's a pain in the ass. It sounds like his editing software, the audio wasn't lining up with the video. So it sounds like he's having a little bit of issues. But if you don't know Oddfellows Thoughts is kind of one of the OGs of the YouTube comic book world, and one of those first guys that I met when I started doing videos. Always very friendly, always very encouraging. He eventually took over what was the Sunday, the Saturday roundtable, the comic book roundtable. I think it was Saturday nights. Was it Friday nights or Saturday nights? I don't remember. A weekly show, rotating groups. There was a core group of people, but then there was guests that would come on. Ryan Carey used to go on the show. Damien was on the show a whole bunch. I went on the show just a couple of times. Sergeant America went on the show. CDC went on the show there for a while. There was a whole bunch of people that kind of guested, and the main focus was new comics that everybody was kind of reading, and just a weekly kind of hangout to talk about the new books and yeah, talk about whatever you wanted, but it was mostly about new comics, stuff that came out that week on Wednesday. It was really great, really, really good times to hang out in the chat, especially once the chat and everything on YouTube started getting better and you could interact with the panel a lot easier. It was such a fun time to sit there and just kind of talk shit about comics for a couple hours every week. So hopefully he has success, and I hope he comes back and does more videos. He's saying that he's itching to talk about stuff, and he's got a lot of things to talk about. So it would be great to have him back in the fold with us. So Oddfellows Thoughts, all one word. If you don't know him, go and subscribe to his channel. It'll be well worth it, especially it looked like in this one, he's not reading as many capes. He's not reading as many kind of Marvel and DC and superhero stuff. He seems to be really into independent books these days, which is fantastic for a guy like me, but newer independent books, because even in that video, there was a few books he talked about that I had no idea about. There was one or two, I think, that Jared is reading as well too, Jared Osborne, and I had talked about him. But go and subscribe, Oddfellows Thoughts, and check out his stuff. I'm sure he's still got his videos archived. I'm guessing. Who knows? Anyway, that's it, everybody. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you next week. Where's the damn cursor? All right, later.